Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are around the world. As you know, if you follow the show regularly, I would normally start with a good evening. But today I'm broadcasting live on A1R Radio and Moonstruck TV from sunny California. Unfortunately, things haven't panned out as I would have wished to start with, which is why I've transferred over Monk Towers to California, so I can't show you any sort of beautiful scenery. But it's very interesting that I planned the trip, didn't worry about it. We've covered on that before. And the minute I get here, the whole world falls apart, you know. And it's one of those tests that you have to think about. Well, it's my life situation. It's not an issue. It's not the situation that's the problem. It's, as I say, constantly, it's how we deal with it. Now, the drama's not from my point of view. What's happened is I should be somewhere on the beach or somewhere in Death Valley. But when I got to my friend's house where I'm staying, currently living in his trailer, his truck had broke down. He had to repair the truck. Well, he was kicking, screaming, shouting, angry, frustrated. And I tried to say, you know, at the end of the day, this is all the kind of stuff that's sent to make us live in the present. This gentleman has recently had heart surgery, had stents fitted, and when I tried to explain it's because he's always angry and kicking his truck, he kind of poo-pooed the matter. But we went on to chat about it, and then his good lady wife was away in somewhere for Labor Day, and when we got together, when they came back, we were talking, and the issue between myself and the truck was that I had to say, let it go, doesn't matter, you know. And I was trying to explain to my friend that by getting agitated and angry and removing himself from the present, that's not going to really achieve anything, and it's just going to affect his health. So we sort of got working on the truck and got it fixed, and then yesterday or the day before spent a day on a really nice pontoon boat that he's brought, and we spent a day on the lake fishing. I've not fished since I was probably 10 years old. And a funny story about that, the only fish I ever caught was the smallest fish you could catch, and I caught it by the tail. So it was hooked by the tail. So I decided there and then never to fish again. But yesterday, we took the fishing rods out and cast them into the water, very much like casting thoughts out into the universe. So I'm looking for something. I'm putting out the bait. I'm putting out the line. I'm putting out the float for something to happen that I'm looking for. And that's very much like nowism or being present. It's back to linking in with the universal vibration, the thought process, the law of attraction, all those kind of things. Now, somebody would say, well, that fish is swimming around the water. It's not thinking about you and your law of attraction. But I'm using that as a metaphor or an analogy. I wanted something that was in another place. So I had to cast the bait, if you like. I had to cast the thought into the universe, cast the bait into the water. My friend and I just sat listening to music, having a beer, enjoying well, it was over 100 degrees where we were at the lake at the time. It was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very hot. Can't tell you what it is in centigrade because I don't know. So I was sitting there having a few beers, and then he said to me, what's happening with your float? So I went to have a look, and just for a couple of seconds, I couldn't see the float. So I got the rod, yanked on it, and reeled it in. Got myself a really nice catfish. Really, really chuffed, really pleased. But again, it was only something that was superfluous really to the day. Just being in the moment, it helped me relax and just be present there with nature. The fish, unfortunately, got caught in the now, but clearly we unhooked it and let it go. Carrying on that conversation, we were talking about the fact I'd never fished, and it took me back to how I used to think about things, how I used to be before my road trip, that I would be constantly thinking about the past. And up to that point yesterday, very important, I'd identified with a 40 or 50-year-old event that stopped me from doing something moving forward. I'd never fished, didn't like fishing, purely and simply because I wasn't successful at it. I tried and sat there for hours and caught this poor little fish by its tail. So I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say in terms of, while we're there, we take what we get. We imagine, or we think, or we put that energy out into the universe in the belief, okay, it's very important, in the belief that what we're actually focusing on and visualizing will come to pass. And in this conversation with my friend about getting angry over the truck, we went over the whole seeing is believing, or I'll believe it when I see it, that kind of thing. And for people that have watched the show before, you'll know I'm very keen on I'll see it when I believe it. Very simple way of turning the words around, but I'll see it when I believe it. So if I'm believing something, if I'm believing that I want to be in this position, or I want health, or I want happiness, I want security, I have to believe it before I see it. We threw the line back in, put another worm on, threw the line back in, and again, I caught another fish. Not done one, 50 years, never caught a fish. Didn't want to do it, didn't enjoy it, and I identified with that event, which stopped me up to that point from moving forward and enjoying and experiencing life, which is only now. We've only got this very moment, the moment I'm talking to you, that's all we ever have. And it's kind of difficult for people to understand that, but once you can grasp the concept that what's gone before has gone and what's yet to come hasn't happened yet, then it becomes quite that much simpler. Well, this next catfish was absolutely massive. My friend said it's the biggest catfish he's seen in 30 years of fishing. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but it was one of those things, you know, I'd been there, I tried it, I got it. I cast my thoughts out into the universe. I cast the bait out into the water. It's very, very simple. It's a very simple analogy, but it's so powerful when we think about what we want. Twist that on its head. If we think about the negativity, or we think about the pain, my friend was thinking about the fact that we were supposed to be going to Death Valley, which is his favorite place. He'd taken vacation time from work, so he's stressing himself because it's a waste of vacation time. He's on his back under the truck trying to fix the problem. I was down there helping him, but it was something that had to be done. And getting agitated and shouting and kicking and screaming did nothing other than hurt himself. And I don't mean that energy-wise. He actually bruised his foot. He did damage to his toes, damage to his foot. For what? The truck still didn't work. So we got together the next day. We lay down on the floor. We looked at the parts. We took our time. We made it work. We needed to go to Death Valley. We need to go to the lake. We've got future things that we need to think about. But as I said, we can only affect those things now. By being present is the only time we could fix the truck in order to be at that place in some future time. He got it. We sat, and later on that night after we were working on it, and when we got back from the lake, we sat talking, and it's the kind of slow dripping feed, if you like. I studied martial arts for many years, and one of the main concepts, if you like, is that a slowly dripping tap will bore through stone. Apologies. A slowly dripping tap will bore through stone. So it's about soft, it's about slow, it's about being present and being in the now. He got it, and we had a great time. It was a great time fishing, and it's something that I might again take up when I get back to England or some future time. I'm considering it now, but I want you to understand it's just the link between throwing things out into the universe, expect them to come back, visualize exactly what it is that you want, work constantly at focusing on that imagery. See it. If you see it in your heart of hearts and you see it in your mind, you will get it. You will get it. Believe it. Believe it. Believe it. That's all I can really say. I'm getting really hot because I've had to turn the air conditioning off in the trailer so that you didn't get a constant hum in the background. And hopefully this time next week, I will be somewhere out and doing the show from my mobile phone, and I can show you a little bit of sunny California for those that have not been here. In the meantime, take care. Have a great week. Love to you all. Bye-bye.